Welcome to Divine Quantum Wellness, and this is a space for healing and meeting higher consciousness. And your host today is Stacy Imbasciani, an intuitive healer, QHHT practitioner, level 2, and spiritual guide. And today I am honoring Diana Naglic. She is a former client. She's had 8 years of spiritual awakening, and she's here today to share her courageous story with other spiritual speakers. Let's welcome Diana. How you doing today, Diana? Thank you for coming on.
I'm doing great. I'm excited to, talk about the journey and share and hopefully, connect more people together.
Thank you. And that is wonderful. And that's what we're doing today. We're putting this out there for people that find it, that are curious about going into energy work or going into their past lives or their childhood to heal. And thank you for coming on today. Let's begin with your backstory.
Yeah, so I think, 8 years, like you've mentioned before, the last 8 years have been kind of the strongest out of my spiritual journey so far, I would say. But really, I think sort of my story, my spiritual growth story started at a really young age. At least I would consider it pretty young to start sort of talking about these things and trying to understand them as well. And I think I was about 9 or 10 years old when I started, talking to my mom about first about dreams and then sort of like the journey of the souls, which was the book that she was reading with the same name by Michael Newton. And I think that really opened me up to sort of these aspects of the non-human, non-materialistic world that really does exist out there. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I had extremely vivid emotional dreams as a child. I think it started around 2 or 3 that I don't even remember. And I think I was just naturally attracted to these topics. And with my mom also being very spiritual, I was able to kind of shape my ideas um, of what the spiritual world is, what energy is, and how, like, what the sixth sense is, right? That's kind of how it started. And, eventually, once I grew up a little bit, um, I think I was in high school, maybe just started high school. I started to get deeper into it. I discovered law of attraction. I read the Secret, which a lot of people start. I feel like their journeys into like
Yes, the secret.
finding out that we are the creators after all, and that you know a lot of times we're making this life more difficult on ourselves, really without any need for it.
Right.
So, and that's how it started. And then when I was like 19 years old, so after high school, I moved to the United States overseas. And I think that's when I really had to tap in um, to my higher self to be able to, go through this change. It included culture shock, complete switch of, your environment, having no family around physically to help you with things. And I think that's when like things really started moving. Um, and just when you think that you're really moving on your spiritual journey, things start to unfold even faster and even further and even more, and it's more intense, and you kind of just start connecting all these pieces together. And I think it has been, was it 2 years or 1 year now since I did QHHT with you. And I think that really, it certainly opened up a lot more. And I think all those parts that I was missing, that I would go to other people before and they would, tell me, oh, you need to be more confident, you need to trust yourself more, you need to believe in yourself more. And all of these sound like very simple, things that like, yeah, like everybody says that, but do you truly feel that? Do you truly think that?
Believe it. Do you
Do
believe
you
it?
believe, that you can believe? And so I think that's where like QHHT really moved me forward, and now I'm here, and I think all those aspects are unfolding for me much quicker, and I understand it better.
Yes, and each session that you have, like each QHHT or past life regression, it opens you up even more. And then, I'm at the point where it's definitely our beliefs. If I believe something, and that's creates my reality. So a lot of people, it works for a lot of people that believe and that they can get rid of they're on their self journey. They're doing their self work. And it works so much better when someone is believing and doing their spiritual work and they're curious and and they just come in and they have the best session. But you also had Akashic Records with
That
me
you're really
to
meant
work.
to get in that moment of where
Yes.
you're at, like right then and there,
Now, right now moment.
right now. It's, and I think for me, I kind of take, what I get in that moment, and I
Mhm.
try to apply that immediately.
In your life
Because
now.
it's
Yeah.
really, yeah, right away. Um, and I don't, I've learned to trust it a lot more than I used to. Like I used to be curious. Now I feel like I'm like this full believer,
Yes.
and I can much easily integrate the two. And I think that's why like I get the results sort of faster. Because it's all about the belief that you have. And, I think a lot of times, if I didn't truly, believe it and trust it, then like there would be, nothing would happen afterwards.
Right.
But when you do, and you kind of like open yourself up to that, and you're not, you say like I'm good, I'm protected, um, nothing bad will happen to me. This is all for my highest good, and it's just an experience. Then like it just becomes okay and becomes easier. So I would say like I just love feeling um the energy from like
Yeah.
these sessions, and truly then really also recognizing when I don't know, I do something or have an experience in like my daily life, and I feel the same energy, and that's like how I know I'm on the right path.
You're connected. You're
Right.
you feel the energy does not lie and you are connected. So this energy is put into tarot reading, to spirit reading. We're just reading the energy, psychic reading.
Hmm.
It's all energy. And if you believe it and you feel it, you follow it. It's a miracles. They're little miracles all day long.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason, right? You see a butterfly or you trip and fall, everything is there's a message with everything. Your body, spirit, signs, symbols. And
Yeah.
you're doing that. You're walking that. I have a lot of people that ask about what happens after these sessions. And that's what's happening with you. You're unfolding almost like the butterfly effect. Mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly I think how it feels like. Um, I think um if I take that metaphor, maybe it takes a few days, um, for the butterfly to fully go into that full butterfly effect.
Yes.
Um, and I think after a session, especially something that's, well, it doesn't actually matter, but like I think the QHHT just keeps coming on my mind because it was very intense, and just a lot of information.
Did it take you a
Um,
while to process that
yeah,
information?
it definitely took a while to process, and I think I just kept telling myself that like I can take my time. I don't need to
Yes.
decipher all of the messages and sort of try to fit them into my life immediately. Um, I can sort of take my time and just think about it and just feel it out and not, just let it go and then let it come back to me when the
Beautiful.
time is right.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still sort of understanding that session better.
Mhm.
And it's been, I think, more than a year or
It's been,
something like
yeah, it's
that. So,
been since, I think it's been since, oh, it's been about yeah, it's over a year, June
yeah.
2024. Yeah, that's what happens. I have a lot of clients that come back and they're like, oh my God, my whole life has changed, but it's a process. And it's,
Mm.
like you said, having
Yeah,
compassion with yourself and self-love. And
definitely. And I think, depending on the situation, like for me, I really wanted sort of like more practical changes.
Mhm.
Um and I was at first I think I was struggling with like, I really want to manifest. I want to, bring it
Fruition.
to reality, and I want a better job or something like that, or a better financial situation. And I think what I've learned the most is that it's not only about the specific like practical changes you want to make. If you truly want that, it will happen. And if it's truly something that, should happen and you're aligned with that purpose, it will. But I think what needed to happen first for me was the energy shift where I am right now. So it doesn't work by just, sort of trying to run away and forget about it, because even the situation you're in at the moment, um, it has something there to teach you. There's some kind of experience. There's something that I think you're supposed to take from it. And when you want to move on from something and it's like really tough and you're sort of fighting with it, it usually means that, you have a little,
Resistance. You
yeah,
have,
resistance,
yeah,
first of all. And I think there's just something that you need to let go at the current situation to be able to move forward, because if
yeah,
not, you're just dragging it with you along. So, and
very
we don't
good.
want that. So,
Yeah, you learn so much from yourself. And, it's remembering who you are through the session and taking that information and saying,
mhm.
okay, let's go your way. These are messages that are from your higher self, from your guides, from your subconscious. And it's wonderful when we listen to it because then they give you more. They give you more
Right.
breadcrumbs, you follow it, and you wake up during the day and say, what do I need today? What do I need to know today? And just going in, connecting to yourself because all your answers are there. You're doing wonderful. Um, you are definitely a spiritual warrior. What would you say to people that feel lost and disconnected or unsure about going within, deep within themselves? And they're called to do this work, they're called to heal, they're called to move forward. What would you say to them?
Um, I would say that if they feel like they're being called, it's true.
Yes, the energy is
It's
pulling them,
it's
right?
it's true. Like it's not, they're not, this is um
Be
they're not
curious.
imagining anything. The you
Mhm.
know the imagine, the word imagine, it's true. It's
Yeah,
real. It's just as real as anything else,
or
because what
yeah,
you imagine can become true, at any point. And I think if they feel stuck, I think a lot of times it might be because they sort of feel like um they're, the black sheep out of maybe their the
their
people that
family.
live
Yeah,
around them, or their like prior beliefs. And I think it's important for them to know that there are so many of them.
yeah,
There's so many that are gonna be, gonna completely understand. And there's gonna be some that are not going to understand, and that's completely fine.
yeah.
Um,
It's like you're
and it,
finding your tribe,
yeah,
the ones that
exactly.
fill your cup, have a nice energy exchange. And in the imagination, a lot of people question their imagination. And I feel like your imagination is it. It's the one that heals you. It's the one that gives you messages. It's the one that's helping you along your path. That's showing you. I mean, that's what I use all the time. So I believe it and it serves me. But
Yeah.
if someone doesn't believe it, what would you say to them?
Um,
What if? What if you just follow it?
what if you did? I would say try
Yeah.
it.
Try it.
I
Why
think just
not?
try it. Just try maybe something
Different.
that you feel like it's less of an impact for you.
Mhm.
And just try it out. Try imagining that when you get to work and the parking at your job is really tight, try imagining that as soon as you pull up, somebody is going to leave.
Yeah, that's Abraham Hicks
And
says that. She
there
plays
you
with that
go.
all the time. Yeah.
I mean, that works for me every time.
Yeah, I've done that too.
And
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't parked in the further parking lot of my job probably in a year because this just always works.
Mm.
Um,
And that's where you believe
Second,
it,
I
right?
believe it. I fully believe it, and it takes some practice.
Hmm.
But when you believe it, it will work out.
Then it's
Um,
there's a knowing. So like you're practicing and when it's starting to happen, then you're starting to believe it and then it's becomes a knowing. Like I
yeah,
just know I'm going to get that spot.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just yesterday, I think I was a little late to work, and um, I was like, there'll be space. Like it's fine. It's a little late, but there will be space. And there was one car pulling into the garage in front of me. Um, and it looked like they were taking the last spot, and I said, there's gonna be a spot for me. I don't care, this is the last spot, there's gonna be a spot right here. And they pull in sort of halfway, and then they pull back out and leave.
Oh,
So I take that spot and I'm like, thank you. Yeah,
that's a little miracle. Thank you, universe.
um, so it's like, yeah, of course that happened, and I love the coincidences that are not
Yeah.
coincidences and that are really just plans. And
Yeah.
um, I think in one book I read, I think it was Psy. It was a very like abstract book, but its main message was um, every plan is a coincidence and every coincidence is a plan. It was something like that. And it's when you think about it, you end up um finding out that it's almost like there's no plan and there's no coincidence. It's just what you create. So
Exactly.
I truly, truly believe in that, and I try to follow that in
Hmm.
my daily life, as small and as big as it gets. Um, and another thing is, I'm trying now for um, a higher position because I feel like I've gotten so much experience in what I do in the past 3 years. And I sort of found a position that I really want to get. And it's sort of like what I imagined about 2 years ago, I believe, that, the job would have. And
Yeah.
sure enough, I find this position maybe like a month or two ago. And I say, oh, that's great. That's what I was looking for. I do the application, I do everything. And after I did the application, immediately I find out someone who's working very closely to me at this time um, is actually friends with the person who has the job posting.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, great, I'm good. Um, and then just this week or last week actually, um, the I was just I think I was on a phone call outside of my job, and I was sort of just walking up and down the stairs on the phone, and this woman stops me and asks for directions. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll show you exactly where this building is. And we walk together, and it turns out she's one of the recruiters for the company that
Oh,
I'm
wow.
going to. So immediately I tell her about my application and how I haven't heard back, and I didn't, say anything else. I didn't ask for anything. And sure enough, before she leaves into the building that I showed her,
Right.
she says, "Oh, here's my email. Please send over your application. I'll make
Wow,
sure that somebody reads it."
that's a
And
miracle.
the energy involved in that whole conversation, and it's the same, you know, is the knowing
Is the
that,
alignment is coming into
yeah,
alignment because yeah, just dream a little bit. It's your reality. And if you
yeah,
don't feel good inside, you have to go with and say what's going on here. Can we change the movie? Change the
yeah,
character, change things. It's okay
yeah.
to be happier. Your soul knows how to guide us out. But I'd like to know, what would you say to your younger self if you can go back there? What would you say to her?
I think the same thing that I still am having to say today is trust yourself.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
be confident in what you believe in. That's all you need.
I think the
Um,
confidence comes from practice,
for sure.
right?
I think you need some examples,
Mhm.
um, that you yourself experience, and it gets easier over time. And I think for me, it's just these constant reminders. And um, I think, I feel like I've made a lot of progress, um, in the past 8 years for sure,
For
especially in the
sure.
past
Yeah.
3 years. And I think that's what's been, allowing me.
It's your testament, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Um, and then patience, I would say.
Yes, I think patience is a big one. A
Yeah.
lot of we have to have patience with ourselves, just like a child.
Yeah, I think, my grandpa would always tell me, you need to be patient, and he still does tell me that I need to
Mm.
be patient. And I try to remind myself of that too when I get a little nervous with things that mean a lot to me. And it's, no question that we need to be patient, because if you're not, you're again meeting resistance.
Yeah.
And
I think
so,
we feel like time's running out, and it really isn't, because if we have the good foundation, then we can catapult from that space. Yeah,
yeah,
you're doing amazing. I'm so proud of you and for sharing your light and your story and being open and courageous, and just keep plugging along there. So those who are listening and are feeling to their inner calling, to explore their souls, message links are in the descriptions. And thank you for sharing your path, Diana. And I'll have you on again as you keep unfolding. If anyone has any questions, we'll have you back on to review those questions. Anything else you want to say before we are complete?
yeah, I just want to say thank you for, allowing me to be on here and to share my story. I really appreciate what you do, and I hope you keep going for a
Thank you.
really long time.
Thank you, Diana. I appreciate you as well. I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.